Item Number SCP-4818 Security Level 1 Containment Class Euclid Disruption Class Lamb Risk Class Caution Special Containment Procedures SCP-4818 is to be kept in the Standard Humanoid Containment Unit in the low security wing of Site-17, with standard privileges and amenities, contingent on its continued cooperation and good behavior. SCP-4818 is permitted to retain the graphic novel collection it accumulated prior to containment, and is allowed up to 12 active graphic novel descriptions. In the event that SCP-4818 becomes hostile, it is to be subdued with the use of a 4 square meters sheet coated in commercially available Phantom Black paint, modified to be fired from a net launcher, and held within a completely dark containment cell after being searched for any light-generating objects. SCP-4818's release may be authorized by Site-17's Head of Anomalous Humanoid Psychology, should their assessment deem the risk of further violence to be minimal. Multiple or severe hostile incidents will result in SCP-4818 being transferred to a more secure facility. SCP-4818 is to be regularly assessed by an attache from Mobile Task Force Alpha-9 Last Hope, and is permitted to engage in its training assignments in designated areas. Description: SCP-4818 is an adolescent female of mixed European and Middle Eastern descent. Any photons that make contact with SCP-4818 skin can be induced to form photonic molecules. Note: a phenomenon wherein photons can be bonded together and exhibit behavior similar to regular matter despite not possessing any mass. SCP-4818 can form and dissolve photonic matter at will, so long as it is exposed to light. Objects composed of this photonic matter possesses a crystalline lattice structure and an appearance similar to luminescent faceted gems. The photonic matter SCP-4818 produces does not break, scratch, tear, or deform under stress like regular matter. However, it does gradually shed photons until it has entirely dissipated. Physical shocks have been demonstrated to accelerate this deterioration. Photonic constructs typically fade at a rate of 100 lumens per hour, and dissipate completely upon reaching 0 lumens. Applying approximately 1,000 newtons of force to a photonic construct will also cause it to lose 100 lumens. SCP-4818 is capable of restoring, maintaining, or increasing the luminosity of photonic constructs by maintaining skin contact. At the time of recovery, SCP-4818 was only capable of generating small photonic jewels and figurines, as well as inflexible photonic armor over exposed skin. Selected Interview 4818 Valtus 1 Site-17 Initial Interview. Interviewer: Researcher Dr. Luna Valtus. Interviewee: SCP-4818. Begin null. SCP-4818 is curled up in a defensive position in its chair, possibly unconscious. Dr. Valtus gently taps on the interview room's partition. Hello. Excuse me. Are you awake? SCP-4818 looks at Dr. Valtus with apparent hostility, but does not respond. Good. I'm Dr. Luna Valtus. I'm here to make an intake interview. But first, have you been fed yet? You're supposed to be fed before we do these. It makes everything go a lot smoother. SCP-4818 does not respond. Have you had water at least? I can't let you get hydrated. It doesn't have to be water. I can get you juice or even hot chocolate or... I know what you're doing. I'm sorry? You have your damn goons tackle me to the ground, tie me up in a sack, hold me off in the back of a van for hours, lock me up in a dark cell, and then you show up all sweet, asking if I want hot chocolate. That's how you brainwash prisoners, by having one of their keepers pretending to be nice so they start to trust them. They tackle you to the ground? I'm sorry they were rough with you. That was clearly unjustified in your case. I assure you the task force that brought you in will at the very least be reprimanded. This is not a prison, and we don't tolerate any abuse from our security staff. Everyone else would treat you the same as I do. SCP-4818's eyes began to tear up. How long are you going to keep me here? Well, most of our residents are here indefinitely. But it does depend on various. What are you going to tell my parents? That depends on the specifics of your circumstances. But the cover story is usually whatever will cause the least suspicion. Most likely, you'll just be led to believe you've gone missing and... SCP-4818 begins crying. Sweetie, please at least drink something. We don't want you getting sick. SCP-4818 does not comply. Do you know why you're here at least? Because of my power. We use the term anomalies, but yes. Anomalies? Plural? So I'm not the only one then. No, but you can probably guess by your ID number. We have thousands of them in containment, and God knows how many there are in the wild. I thought I might be the only one, and I didn't think you guys were real. Well, that's good. It means we're doing our job. Can you tell me about your anomaly? When did it start? I've always been able to feel the light on my skin. I didn't even know it wasn't something other people couldn't feel. One day, when I was 8 or 9, I just started really focusing on it, trying to hold it there, and it started growing on my arm like a layer of ice. I've been practicing and experimenting since then. Can you show me? SCP-4818 nods. It holds out its palm. An approximately 10 cm tall 400 lumen figurine of the Marvel Comics character Captain Marvel forms over several seconds. That's incredible. No, it's a sideshow act. I want to do more with it. I want to actually get good enough to use my power effectively as an actual superhero. I'm not saying you can't use your anomaly, but you need to know that you won't tolerate any violence. You got lucky getting assigned to Site-17. This is one of, if not the most comfortable sites for anomalous humanoids in our entire organization. If you don't behave yourself, you're going to end up somewhere a lot less comfortable. No superhero business. Is that understood? SCP-4818 nods tearfully. Good. I can see you're still distraught. I want you to eat some food, drink some fluids, and get some rest. And we'll resume our discussion tomorrow. Maybe even try to fill out some of those forms we gave you in case our background check missed something. Okay? SCP-4818 nods dejectedly. Good girl. I'll see you tomorrow. End log. Selected interview. 4818 Voltus 2. Note: this interview was conducted after SCP-4818 had a panic attack during its first supervised contact with another on-site SCP. Begin log. Are you feeling better now? I guess I'm calmer. I wouldn't say I'm better. Good, if you're calm, then we can talk. Please, tell me what happened from your perspective. My perspective? From my perspective, you brought a trolley with mutated stillborn fetuses that started talking, then singing. Why the frick would you do that? I explained that to you. We don't want to keep you locked up in your room. That's not good for you, and it's not good for us. We want you to be able to go to the common areas and interact with other residents. But before we can do that, you have to meet them one-on-one so we can rule out any possible effects of exposing you to other anomalies. But why them? Why on earth would those freaks be the first thing you showed me? Because they're harmless. Dr. Glass do recommend I start off with Mr. Fish, but frankly I thought 3717 would be less intimidating since they're so small and stuck in jars. SCP-4818 stares at Dr. Voltus in apparent disbelief. They're horrifying! I told you what they were before I brought them in. You said they were cute! I said kind of cute. They're not freaking cute! They're monsters! You said there were people like me here. And that's what you meant. That's what I am to you. Something to be shoved alongside demonic fetuses and fish people. SCP-4818 buries its face in its hands, it begins to cry. This is a place for freaks and monsters, isn't it? I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here. I don't want to be here. Please, sweetie, I'm sorry if I gave you the wrong impression with 3717, but SCP-4818 screams, withdraws to the corner of the interview chamber, and collapses into a fetal position. It does not respond to further questioning. I'm sorry. I'm going to make this up to you. I promise. End log. Researcher's notes. I take full responsibility for this disastrous first attempt to integrate SCP-4818 into Site-17's residential community. I chose SCP-3717 because they were low risk, but I neglected to consider the psychological impact they might have on a person unaccustomed to the anomalous. My description of SCP-3717 to SCP-4818 was also arguably too polite to have properly prepared her for them. It seems that prior to containment, SCP-4818 heavily identified with pop cultural depictions of superheroes, and her experiences in containment thus far have been heavily detrimental to self-image. For this reason, I've chosen SCP-073 as the next Site-17 resident to meet SCP-4818. I'm confident she'll have a better opinion of him. Dr. Luna Valdez. Selected interview 4818 Valdez 3. Notes: this interview was conducted shortly after SCP-4818's supervised meeting with SCP-073. Begin log. Hi. Hello, you're looking better. I'm feeling better. Your meeting with 073 went well then. Yeah, he was awesome. He let me try to hit him. Every single blow just came right back at me. You didn't hurt yourself, did you? No, it's cool, and his bionic arms. He can move them just like real ones. How is that possible? If we knew that, they won't be anomalous. He says they don't even need upkeep. They're as invincible as the rest of him. It had to be, otherwise he had worn them out long ago. You believe him then, that he's as old as he says he is, that he's lived through reality-changing events with his memory intact. The consensus among the researchers is that he's trustworthy. But I already know all I need to know about him. Tell me, do you view yourself as more like him than the SCPs from your previous introduction? I wish I collapsed into a ball because of something that looked like a cheap Halloween decoration. Kane's fought actual demons. Remember that 073 is indestructible. It's easy for him to be brave. You're a young woman who's been taken away from something she's ever known, and I shoved 3 deformed homunculi in your face. I'm sorry I did that. No, it's cool. They were harmless, so it was probably a better idea than putting me in the same room with an invincible ancient cyborg. Yes, that, and the fact that this anomaly actually affects his environment. Did he mention that at all? He did. He told me he hasn't held a plant in thousands of years without it disintegrating. I thought that was kind of sad, so I made him a flower with my light. He's a little hard to read, but I think he liked it. That was very kind of you. I'm glad you got along so well. Yeah, I never thought I'd ever meet someone as cool as that. I'm glad that at least some of the anomalies here are more super, I guess. Well, if you can cooperate and get through the rest of the supervised introductions without incident, then you'll be able to go into common areas and speak with him some more. I'm sure he has lots more stories that you'd love to hear. I like that. Wonderful. You know, I've been thinking about what you said during our first interview, about wanting to make better use of your anomaly. We do have a program here that's meant to utilize anomalous humanoids like 076-3, like you. I can't promise anything, but if you were interested, I could recommend you to them. They'd evaluate you, train you, and maybe deploy you one day. You mean I could actually be an agent for us? What do you say? Yes! Great! We'll push through the rest of the introductions as quickly as we can. and you'll be having more of Kane's old yarns in no time. Just remember, you have to be polite to the Fuller kids too. I'll be good, I promise. I wouldn't expect anything less from a superhero. End log. Selected interview 4818 Alpha-9. Access denied. Level 4 clearance is required to access this file. Need researchers update. SCP-4818's enrollment in Alpha-9 has notably improved her morale and loyalty to the Foundation. Her skills with her own anomalous abilities have also been greatly enhanced by the training she's received. She can now generate filaments of photonic matter and weave them into flexible clothing, as well as extend photonic matter generated on exposed skin over a closed area. She has successfully created statues of photonic matter, nearly 2 meters tall and 10,000 lumens in luminosity. For combat training, she most frequently generates swords, whips, shields, and throwing stars. She aspires to create more complex constructs and hopes to one day create photonic machines. Alpha-9's commander tells me they were also testing to see if she can learn to focus light into laser beams or re-release it at ionized scene frequencies, but nothing has come of this so far. Outside of her Alpha-9 activities, SCP-4818 is a model psych resident. She has never used her newly developed skills to harm staff or residents, is extremely cordial and often volunteers to assist others in any way she can. Overall, her presence had greatly brightened up the site, both literally and figuratively. Researcher Luna Valdez. Addendum. SCP-4818 has demonstrated the ability to produce a pair of photonic wings, which computer simulations indicate are capable of sustaining powered flight. It has requested that it be allowed to test these under safe conditions and receive flight training should they prove effective. Permission from Alpha-9 Commander is pending.